Good day to Mr. E. My name is Malini. I'm on behalf of Group 3. There are altogether 4 of us in this group, which is Ashwini, Noinita, Man Prasad and also myself, Malini. Today we will be presenting about the policies that we will use to develop Malaysia in the next 5 years if we were the Prime Minister of Malaysia. To know about which policy our group have been chosen, I will pass to the next presenter to present to you. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. I'm Ashwini. So for part C, the question is if you were the Prime Minister of Malaysia, which policy would you use to develop Malaysia in the next 5 years? If I were the Prime Minister of Malaysia, I will pay more attention to education and skill development policy to develop Malaysia in the next 5 years. Why I choose this policy? At such a critical point in time, with the world of work rapidly changing and the changes of a job for life getting slimmer by the day, getting intervention and investment in education right will be a key determinant of the country's success in coming years. The Malaysian higher education system has grown from strength to strength over the past few decades. Over the last 10 years alone, the system has made significant gain in student enrollment, risen in global recognition, on key dimensions such as research publication, patent and institutional quality, as well as become a top destination for international students. These achievements as a testament to the drive and innovation of the Malaysian academic community, the support of the private sector as well as the deep investment the government has made. None otherless, as a Prime Minister, I will recognize that the system will need to keep evolving to stay abreast with, if not ahead of global trends. For example, distributive technologies such as advanced robotics, the Internet of Things and the automation of knowledge work are expected to dramatically reshape the business and social landscape from what it is today. Preparing Malaysian youth to thrive in this complex and ever-changing future will require an equally fundamental transformation of how the higher education system and higher learning institutions currently operate. I need to be committed to continuously improving Malaysia's education system at every level, from preschool to higher education. At its core, the goal and purpose of this country's education system is to equip Malaysian students holistically and enable them fulfill their potential. Since every student is different, as a minister, I also need to understand the importance of tailoring their approach to help bring out the talent of each individual. All in one, education reform does not happen overnight, and instead requires the continuous effort from parents, teachers, students and government alike. While it may seem a long road ahead, we can be rest assured that progress is made every step of the way. Next, I'll pass it to Man Prasad to present how, as a Prime Minister, can focus on improving education and skill development in our country. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. I am Man Prasad. So my part will be how, as a Prime Minister, can focus on improving education and skills development in our country in the next 5 years. So as a Prime Minister, I will focus on improving education and skills provision in our country by creating a framework to define the skills of the future. Technological change and aging population and globalization are drastically changing the skills required to succeed in the labor market. Personal and analytical skills are becoming more important than ever, but this is not reflected in the way we speak about them. However, the lack of a proper framework to define such skills result in a lack of understanding on what individuals need to succeed in the labor market. Establishing a clear framework by working closely with employers and education providers would give me as a Prime Minister an opportunity to shed the light on such an important debate. Next, I will focus on adult education and lifelong learning. One way to do this is to follow the example of leading countries such as Denmark and Singapore by allocating a set of hours everyone can devote to training every year, or assigning a credit system to give individuals access to free training based on their skills they already have and the jobs they are currently doing. Together with that, building a body of evidence on what works in terms of adult education will be crucial to offer an effective provision. And finally, I will support people with no qualifications to pick up formal trainings. Not only people with few or no qualification overwhelming more vulnerable to the risk of automation, but their employment outcomes, both in terms of employment rates and wages, are lower than for more qualified workers. as such, while everyone will need retraining, particular attention should be given to those that do not have any formal qualifications, focusing on supporting people to achieve qualification at least equivalent to good by understanding how best to engage different groups, and experimenting with provision will prove crucial in this space, focusing on equipping young people with the right skills to succeed in the labor market and supporting workers to adapt in an ever-changing world of work should be a good way to improve our education and skills in Malaysia. Next, I will pass it to the next presenter to present their part. Thank you.
Good day, Miss A. Again, my name is Malini. Okay, today I'm here to explain to you about the reason why our group did not select or use the second policy, which is developing infrastructure of Malaysia in the next 5 years. To briefly explain, infrastructure is the basic facilities and services that necessary for carrying out the economic activities. It is an important driver for the growth of economy of any region. Electricity, water system, public utilities, airports, railways and telecommunication are essential services that drive the economic activity by channelizing trade and mobility. We as a team member discussed that if we were the Prime Minister of Malaysia, we will pay attention on the development of education rather than developing the infrastructure of Malaysia. The reason is, the infrastructure in Malaysia is excellent and constantly improving. In fact, in the past couple of decades, the government has focused on modernizing the country, encouraging technological advancement in the country to improve satellite, internet and general communication. Apart from that, infrastructure development in Malaysia is driven by certain social, economic and environmental factors. To point out that, on November 6, 2020, the government has said that it is committed to implementing key transport infrastructure projects, allocating a total of RM 15 billion in budget of 2021 to fund these developments. Not only that, several key projects will also be continued, such as a rapid transit system link from Johor Bahru to Woodlands, Singapore to MRT 3, which is a mass rapid transit 3 in Klang Valley. Additionally, in Peninsular Malaysia, electrical power is supplied by the predominantly state-controlled Tenaga Nasional Company. Due to the rapid industrial development and growing demand for electricity, considerable efforts were made to privatize the National Utility Company and develop private initiatives to build and operate new power generating plants. Besides that, in this current situation, with positive progress in vaccine development, Malaysia's economy is confidently projected to rebound with a growth between 6.5% to 7.5% next year. The infrastructure is expected to expand by 13.9% in 2021 as major infrastructure and affordable housing projects are revived and accelerated to meet deadlines. From this, you can know that infrastructure in Malaysia is improving and to believe will also improve for the next 5 years. This is the reason why we did not choose this policy to develop Malaysia in the next 5 years if we were the Prime Minister of Malaysia. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi sir, my name is Novi Nita. I will be presenting on why our group didn't choose the third policy, which is to continue having low income and company taxes for the next 3 years. Having low income will give troublesome to the household. They will face difficulty on budgeting and also saving. However, having a low company tax will help the GDP to increase. But when we compare to the first point, which is to pay more attention to education, it sounds more important than the third policy. That's the reason why we didn't choose to continue having low income and company taxes for the next 3 years.